Welcome to the First Five Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Corey, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Drew Gotro.
And today in the podcast studio, we have a first-year comic. We have somebody who is still developing potentially their first 5 minutes, their first tight five. I've been watching this guy for a while. He has a distinctive style. He has really been impressing everybody in the scene, definitely including me lately. And just really wanted to have him on. It was a quick decision. Please welcome to the podcast, Brock White-Lyons.
Yeah.
Insert more applause here.
It's good to have you here, man. I like the camo pants.
Thanks, dog. This is my best outfit. You know, I picked it out just to be here. You know what I'm saying?
Dude. I know Wu-Tang, you're connecting with this guy.
Yeah. Wu-Tang's big for me, bro. Like, for me, that's my whole style of comedy is Wu-Tang. Like, Wu-Tang's more than just a rap group, bro. It's like it's a lifestyle. And if you study Wu-Tang enough, you understand what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But so it translates to my comedy
when it comes to that.
Yeah. Well, check it out, dog. The RZA, the Jizza.
Well, he comes up. It's kind of like wrestling. Like Wu-Tang comes up. It's a big group, right? Mm-hmm. They come up a lot in people's comedy, and it does feel like something. I'm like, all right, maybe I was the 90s. I mean, they got started in the 90s, right?
Yeah, late 90s. The reason why they're not as mainstream as they should be is because they went on stage and said, like, fuck whatever the big radio station was at the time. And then they didn't get radio play. So Wu-Tang was too raw to make it like NWA made it and like some other rap groups might have made it, but they are the premier rap group altogether, bro. And that's, it's a whole style, bro.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I'll have to check them out because like I can't be this far behind the curve. All right, so I wanted to cover a lot of stuff. I wanted to, first of all, you're a part of a group of people that have just started their first year in the Lafayette comedy scene and have already kind of made like a stronger impression on people. And so I wanted to kind of just from your perspective, what has it been like to be a first year open micer in Lafayette?
Man, so like for me, I looked it up before I came here, and I'm not even 6 months yet. I think I make 6 months sometime like mid-December. But I have been studying comedy and been such a fan of comedy for so long. It's been 5-6 months of being on stage, but almost like a lifetime of me wanting to be on stage. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's been fun, man. The community here has been like amazing. It seems like a place where I could truly be myself, where anywhere else I'm at, I can't be me.
Yeah.
But out there on that back table after a mic, hanging out with y'all, I could be who I really am. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so were you always drawn, like, it sounds like you were always drawn to some sort of performance, but was it always comedy?
Oh, yeah, 100% always comedy. I am untalented in, like, everything else. If it was my way, like I said, Wu-Tang, I would be rapping or something, right? But I can't rap, and comedy was a big thing for me. I always thought I was funny,
Yeah, you get more pussy doing music.
It's
like
true
rapping or being in a rock band.
100%. But I do hope to still, like, get pussy, I'm into that,
Yeah, I mean, we can't just toss that aside.
That's right.
So well, okay, so
he needed to make sure to go on the record.
Listen,
like, yo, I still like pussy.
I haven't given up.
I'm married, dog, you know what I'm saying? And if I do well at a mic, I get it extra good that night. You know what I'm saying? So it works.
That's nice.
Yeah, I don't think we don't know what that's like, but that's awesome, dude. Yeah, your wife comes out to the mics. Drew, yours has come out a few times. She's known for being like a good hang and a good person to have around. My wife, she kind of stays away. Like she's like, oh, you're gonna go do something. I'm gonna like take advantage of the opportunity. I'm gonna make out the plans. I'm gonna do this. She's really into like home based stuff. So it's whatever it is. It's usually gonna be something she's doing here. But whatever. The point is, she doesn't really come out. So people don't even really know who she is.
Yeah, it's mysterious. I'm not sure she's real. I'm just saying, bro.
Well, so, we do have a reputation for having a good scene here. I think it is a very nurturing environment for young comics. I don't think it's the only good scene. I wish we had more time to go out to New Orleans and spend time there. Have you? Because you went with Jason to Dragon's Den.
Yeah, I did. I went to Jason's with Dragon Den this weekend, and before that, I made a point to I've hit Carrollton Station open mic on Wednesdays out there a couple times, and I even did stand up in front of a bathtub at a bar that's currently closed. But the New Orleans scene is cool, man. It's different than Lafayette for sure. I feel like it's more big city vibes. You know what I mean? There's like more wacky people, which is fun. But also, I got in trouble at some mics over there from like people in the audience after like wanting to tell me, and I've never had that experience in Lafayette or Baton Rouge.
Is it kind of like like monitoring what you should be saying on stage?
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing?
Like they were offended by something I said, which I never experienced before in New Orleans, and it could just be me, but I associate with that scene now. I've only that might be racist or whatever it is to be anti-city. You know what I mean? Right. But and Baton Rouge to me after Lafayette is my favorite spot to go, man.
Okay.
That station room's a blast, and they got a lot of good talent out there too.
Yeah. Lake Charles is pretty fun too.
Yes,
it's just a smaller town.
Absolutely.
Than Baton Rouge and New Orleans.
Yeah, Lake Charles will surprise you. The first time I went in that room, I was like, oh no. Like there's people eating wings back there. They don't want to be here. But there's also tables right in the front, and there's people that show up that want to be there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So even if you have just a few people, they want to be there and they have a good time.
It's better than their last open mic. Their last open mic was rough, dude.
Yeah. Lake Charles's only mic for a while was at this place in the downtown area. What was it called again?
Panorama.
I mean,
it was a cool place.
Yeah.
Not knocking the place.
Yeah, great
But
venue.
it wasn't built for comedy. The people there were not there for comedy.
Right.
Some woman wanted to beat up Joshua Jordan.
Nice.
Because he said something like people from Alabama are stupid.
Come on,
she was outside and she just heard that and came in like, would you? And like wanting to fight him and stuff.
Damn, she's got a lot of people to be mad at.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you didn't know.
Also, Joshua Jordan versus a girl. I feel like you got
this is a tough woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, fair fight then.
Grudge match.
It wasn't like she was. It wasn't like at some point she thought like, am I gonna become a person who fights?
Right.
Like she already.
She was a person who fights.
This wasn't gonna be her first fight. Definitely. She's seen a courtroom.
Yeah. It would have been Joshua Jordan's debut. In other words, we don't know how he'd have done under that kind of pressure.
Good old Joshua Jordan. So okay, Baton Rouge has got a good scene. You're still kind of getting acquainted with the Lake Charles scene. What about getting booked on shows? Because I want to say you've gotten booked on the Ghost Roast.
Yeah, right? Just recently, man, I got booked for, I think I have it in my phone somewhere, but I want to say like the 21st in Lafayette. And then I just got Stone Drunk Sober. And that's the Saturday after that, somewhere in like January 27th, I believe.
Okay, gotcha.
In Baton Rouge at the station, actually, which I'm pumped about because like I'm used to that room. Yeah. Whereas I think 337 would have been a little bit intimidating for me. So at least it's my first like real showcase. Yeah. So at least I'm in a room that like I know. You know what I'm saying?
How much time are you doing?
10 minutes.
Good deal.
Yeah. And it's a funny story. I just figured out what the first 5 meant the other day. So Jason tells me like, you got to do it. Right. And so I'm like, all right, well now I got to figure out how much time I have. Cause I have stuff that works, stuff that doesn't work, but I never really tried to put it together into a set. So I start putting it together and I make a bracket and I write first 5. And I was like, oh, that's what it is, man. I'm real dumb, bro. People don't know that, but I'm not that smart.
Oh, dude, I don't pick up on stuff. So talking about that, you probably breezed past your first 5. Like some people, it's slow and you maybe write a bunch of jokes, but you're like not happy with most of it, and it's tough to figure out how to get where you can always do 5 minutes and it's in your back pocket all the time. You're about to do 10 pretty soon. So do you remember when you realized I at least have 5 minutes where I can get up and do any open mic and be good?
So I'll be real honest, bro. I have a weird confidence about myself. So like the first time I did 5 minutes at an open mic, and I had come to shows for like a year more. Right. I've been going to shows since the Beer Garden, right? Okay. And writing jokes even to myself in my phone. So I'm thinking the first 5 minutes I do at Legends Downtown, I'm like, surely Jason will approach me and then book me for the next Stone Drunk. So right after this, I imagine, this is how it's going to go. Yeah. So, and to be honest with you, the 5 minutes that I did there, I'm almost doing that 5 minutes, just much better. Yeah. So it wasn't that like the jokes, my joke writing evolved, but my performance had to evolve.
Yeah, I got to get on stage.
I think like in a lot of the jokes I write, it feels like a gift from God. And sometimes it'll all vomit out in like a 10, 20-minute session. But then when I look it over, I realize, dude, I've been saying this shit to my friends for 10 years,
Right.
not knowing it was a bit, just because I like to make people laugh and say outrageous shit. And now I just got to figure out how to make it funny to regular people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
And you prefer a bit of a shorter format and punchier jokes, right?
yeah, I think, in my opinion, for a first year comic, you need to learn how to write jokes, set up, punchline. You know, one of my favorite, I got a comic, just corny, dog, but I got a comedy playlist, like, and it's hip hop music that gets me in the mood to do comedy. And one of my favorite quotes from a Drake song is Lil Wayne. And he's like, I ain't like these R&B singers. They coming in the studio like, who's going to be the feature? What's gonna be the hook? He said, come in the studio with clips, ammo, you know? And so that's how I see comedy. Like, you need to come up there and don't be bullshitting these people, trying to tell them a story like you Dave Attell. You're not Dave Attell.
Right.
Come in there and be funny fast, or especially at an open mic.
Yeah.
And be funny fast for a year or 2 years till you got 2 hours of where you being funny fast. And then you could put out specials where you funny fast, and then you could tell people fucking stories. You know, but until then, don't disrespect this audience. Come in here with clips, ammo.
I mean, for the most part, I think it depends on your skill set, but it is the overall point I think you're making is like, before you start dunking the ball, like, learn how to dribble well.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Learn the basics.
Learn the fundamentals of a joke. Learn how to write jokes. You know, nobody's Dave Chappelle right away.
Right.
Even Dave Chappelle wasn't, bro. You know, and I like the old Chappelle when he was still developing. I like the come up. You know, that's when I think comedy's at its best. You can tell me stories later, and I'll listen to you because I watched your come up.
Right. You got to earn it. Yeah. I think that serves people well. I think, I don't know. I don't really make a lot of comparisons between the two of us, but I do think that we both kind of approach jokes with more of that. Let me stretch this out into about like a 1 to 2 minute joke. Have you noticed that pattern at all in terms of the duration of your jokes?
No. They used to do a lot of them. A lot of jokes I still do. As like a lot of jokes would run somewhere in that 2-minute ballpark, and most of those jokes now they're like a minute.
Gotcha.
As I've been doing them, they've gotten tighter,
But
and like a lot of this shit a lot of shit you don't need. I wouldn't mind. Sometimes I'll try to write down things I think that are funny, and I have like different notebooks with different things in it. One notebook is just premises and like just possible punchlines these punchlines don't fit in anywhere. I will go look through them every now and then and try to see, like, can one of these funny things be a tag to add to a joke I already have to make the joke better? You know?
Yeah, 100%. It's weird how that stuff works out. Sometimes you have like a dumb joke that you were like, oh, that was a dumb joke. And then like a month later, you realize, oh, I could fit it over here. And now it's not dumb anymore. Now it makes sense and it's kind of funny.
Or even just like, you want to cut the fat, but you do want to have time. But it's like, you don't want to purposely make a joke longer to make up time. But at the same time, it's like, I heard someone describing the other day, like, the best comedians are someone that, like, when they're finished with a premise or a topic, there's nothing left of it.
Right.
They'll pick it apart and they'll take it at every single angle. So it's like, if you're trying to just keep everything as short and punchy as you can, I mean, you still want to do that, but that doesn't mean that you can't do a 6-minute bit on fucking, I don't know, taxi cabs, or I'm just or whatever it is.
Yes.
Where you can take something. It's even better if it's a normal everyday thing, and you can find every single thing that's funny about it and just tear it apart to where there's nothing left for anyone else to say about it, you know?
And that's how I hope my comedy progresses, right? I hope every of my 1-minute bits I can turn into a 3 to 5 minute bit, you know, just like you're saying.
Yeah, or even like now we have a thing about, like, if we see someone else have a similar premise to ours, we're like, damn. Like, if you get to a certain point, you don't give a shit who's doing the same premise as you, because they're like, yeah, there's no way.
Well, sometimes,
there's no way they're gonna say, they're either gonna say something they're gonna say something I already said, but I said 15 other things. You know what I mean?
But sometimes I watch professional comedians and they got my premise and they do it. And it breaks my heart. It makes me not want to do the bit anymore. I'm like, oh, they already found the joke that it took me a month to find like the baby part of that joke, and they found the big joke.
The angle's more important than the premise, though.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you right now, you have to share premises. There's too many people writing jokes and saying things. So I could see trying not to do a premise that is being overdone. But simply hearing a premise that because I mean, I kind of used to think that a lot. If somebody had a premise, like kind of a similar premise or the same premise as mine, I was like, fuck. And then it's like, all right, well, you can't do all original premises.
Yeah.
There's no way. What needs to be good is the angle.
Absolutely.
Like you have to come at it from a way no one else has thought.
Your unique perspective.
Right.
Especially with the hive mind that we all have now with social media and everything. We're all thinking the same, not even on purpose. Even the ones of us that are trying not to. We can't help it, Yeah. So it is what it is.
Agree 100%. I've really heard some strong arguments on both sides. People that'll say, oh, as soon as I hear somebody else might even be thinking about writing something that's similar to me, I'll throw it away because I want to be a unique voice.
Eventually you'll have no material.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because there's no way you're going to think of a fresh, brand new premise.
Yep.
Yeah.
And comedy's unique
or topic anyway.
In that way where you get criticized for that, where like nobody's like, man, that band kind of sounds like Nirvana. Fuck them. Right. They're like that band kind of sounds like Nirvana. They were influenced by Nirvana. But if a comedian is influenced by another comedian, suddenly they're stealing. Suddenly it's theft. And I guess because it's such a personable art and you're talking and you can only say those things one time and you can't repeat it a million times. I don't know what it is. But in music, there's nothing wrong with being influenced. And if you're a painter, there's nothing wrong with being influenced by Jackson Pollock or Picasso.
Yeah, well, that's the only way you get better shit.
Exactly. But in comedy, it's scrutinized for some reason. It's odd to me.
Yeah, no, but you already kind of hit it though. It's what the art form is. The fact that we're just up there kind of like saying our thoughts and stuff. It's supposed to be unique in a way that, but I think it's kind of bullshit because I think you're absolutely right. You're going to be influenced by people, and for some reason that's just going to be picked apart a little bit more.
Yeah, the good thing about it though is I've kind of figured out that it's a thing that people pick apart when they haven't really gotten on stage. Like I've been a lot more like I used to be like militant about like joke stealing till I started like writing jokes and doing comedy and stuff. And it's very easy to say something to come up with a joke and it'd be very similar, like almost the same joke as someone else's joke. You know what I mean? It's not
organically, you mean?
Yeah, organic. Yeah. Like, yeah, there's parallel. Because most of the time, if I'll hear a comedian in the local scene, and if I hear two people do something that's very similar, almost the same joke, usually it's not a hard thing to think of.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's kind of usually it's something that most people have thought of already. Yep. You know what I mean?
You have to consider.
It's more like. It's not so much joke stealing, it's just not good joke writing.
Exactly. You have to consider maybe that topic is hacky. Or maybe that joke is hacky. Like just consider now, sometimes hacky jokes are still funny. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. But consider it,
Yeah, I haven't really been coming across that as much lately, but it was definitely for a while there. I was writing so much different stuff, and I would just, especially at the station, I'd be like, "Damn, there's so many comics getting up tonight," and it's just inevitable that one of them's we're gonna cross the streams.
Yeah, 100%.
No big deal. So the Ghost Roast, who are you going to be for Ghost Roast?
Oh, this is fun for me. One of my heroes, personal heroes, Hunter S. Thompson.
Okay.
One of the greatest authors of all time, one of the greatest personalities of all time. And it almost feels unfair because I'm just going to inundate myself with Hunter S. Thompson for a month. I'm going to read The Great Shark Tank again. I'm going to watch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And I'm just going to steal all of his lines and repurpose them.
Take a bunch of mescaline.
Yes, and also I am a method actor. It's the only way I know how to act, so there will be some LSD in my system because it just that's how I perform. And I feel sorry for whoever I come up against. I really do because it's not going to go well for them.
I'm going to be doing the Lake Charles one, the second one that they're doing in Lake Charles, and I'm going up against Stephen Hawking.
Oh, nice.
So I'm gonna be Steve Jobs.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a joke writer's dream, Stephen Hawking. Like,
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. I've already kind of come up with a couple of funny angles, so I'm looking forward to fleshing those.
Well, the
Don't-
good thing is it'll be easy to beat up after the show.
yeah, if you can't beat him in comedy,
Yeah.
you can beat him in other ways.
Those ghost roasts are cool, man. Is that a completely original concept that John Merrifield came up with?
I don't know.
The-
I haven't seen it anywhere, but I don't know. There's so much stuff out there.
I think the origin story that John tells is that he came up with it in the kitchen at Central Pizza. And it sounds like a original idea. I've never seen it before.
Yeah.
And man, I had my doubts. When I went to the first one, I was like, man, I don't know how this is going to go.
I would hate to be in the middle of, I would hate to be inside John's head while he's making fucking pizza at Central. Like,
dude, I took a road trip.
I bet it gets scary, dude.
I took a road trip with John Merrifield to the Ghost Roast in Lake Charles, and he never stopped being John Merrifield the entire ride. I really enjoyed it. It was amazing. It might be fun to be in his head.
I was listening to, I was watching a movie and Jason Schwartzman did voice acting for this cartoon character. And I was like, this sounds an awful lot like John. Have you ever noticed that?
Interesting.
Jason
No.
Schwartzman, he kind of sounds like there's some similarities between them.
No, and I can't think of that guy's voice right now.
Did you
in
ever
my
see
head.
Scott Pilgrim?
Mhm.
Remember, he's like the dude,
I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of his voice right now.
yeah, they kind of remind me of one another.
Can you think of a more well-liked domestic terrorist than John Merrifield, though? Because I can't, you know?
Yeah.
Like, for guys that the government's watching, he's great.
Yeah, he's gotten in a lot of trouble, and I don't feel like he's really doing very much. He's literally just like talking shit online. Right?
Yeah, I delivered some flyers to his house the other day, and the police stopped me after. It was wild.
Damn. Didn't know it was that bad.
I mean, I would have to feel like, though, like, once I would be like, this son of a bitch, we got to get him.
Mhm.
Once I would like start following him around, I'd be like, you know what?
It's okay.
This guy's suffering enough. There's nothing we can do to him that's gonna hurt
He hasn't done
more
it
than his
himself.
life
He's only
already. Yeah,
He's
very
only
true.
hurting himself.
Very true.
yeah, he's walking a Central Pizza in the fucking sleet, freezing.
Yeah. Poor John Merrifield.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna go there Saturday night and eat there. My wife's gonna take me there for my birthday. We're gonna have wings and pizza.
Oh, hell yeah. Happy early birthday.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's gonna be good. We love John. I do think his show idea is cool. So Drew's like, oh, whatever. But no, I think his show idea is cool. Basically, if you don't know, if you get booked on the show, you have 5 minutes to. You have to choose your own character, and then you don't have any choice in who you get put up against. And that other person chose their own character, and they're basically taking on the persona of somebody who is dead. That's all. That's the only thing they have to do is be hopefully a known person who's dead, and then you have to write jokes as your person to roast the other person, and then whoever wins that roast, which is chosen by the audience applause. They get to do a 5-minute set of stand-up, and they can do it as the character they chose, or they can do it as themselves.
Oh, I'm coming back for Ghost Roast this month in December because I won in October.
Mm-hmm.
So then we come back and battle the people that won Lafayette in November. So then I'm going to be doing the Baton Rouge Ghost Roast in February.
Mm-hmm.
So I've decided in Baton Rouge to be a different character.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to be John Gotti in Baton Rouge. Because I started thinking, I was like, man, this David Koresh thing is fun. But if I eventually I'll be doing Ghost Roasts in in 3 places at least. You know, that they're doing Lafayette, Lake Charles. If I do it for all 3, I feel like I'm not going to like this character at a certain point. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's going to get stale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll run
So-
out of material eventually, and it just won't be as fun.
And I was thinking like a John Gotti would be fun. Because like whenever the others are saying stuff about you, they make you like sit on that stool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or even when you're not on the stool, when you're sitting in the back, you know, most people can see you where everyone's going to tell at least one joke about you. Then the person that's roasting you is going to tell a few. So it could be fun, you know, and so it's just like, whoa, you know, like, whoa, hey, you know, like,
Well, it'd be fun trying to hear you do an Italian accent.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
I was working on it last night.
All right, good. I'm sure your wife enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I gotta see. I'll shave my goatee and I'll.
Bold
I'll
move.
keep the hat at home.
Interesting.
Damn.
Well, it doesn't take that long to come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
But
you're
for
gonna
that-
look like Eric Foreman without your goatee.
Well, you can't be John Gotti with facial hair. It doesn't
That's
work,
true.
you
Yeah,
know.
Yeah. He was a gang star. So we talked a little bit earlier about influences and how it's inevitable you're going to be influenced by people. I know you probably had some comparisons made to Mitch Hedberg, for example.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it, not like the first maybe one or two times that I saw you get up, I was like, okay, there's obviously an influence there. But then after I started listening to your jokes, I was like, you write very much from your own voice already. And
Yeah.
so it doesn't take that long to hear your comedy to realize you're already carving out your own thing. You're not stealing from anybody.
Yeah.
Do people bring that up and does it bother you when they bring it up?
At first it bothered me, but now it doesn't because of like what I told you earlier. I kind of that's what I've told myself over all this time. And also, man, I know I'm not like Mitch Hedberg because I'm like braggadocious. I'm not afraid of the crowd. I love the crowd. I love the camera. I'm not self-deprecating. You know what I'm saying? I'm also don't do heroin. I've only done it one time, which I think is something to be proud
And you
of.
talk about black people.
I talk about black people.
I don't think I've ever heard Mitch Hedberg talk about
Talk
black
about
people.
gays a lot,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And also, what I think is great about comedy is what's been like therapeutic for me is, like I said, it's the most I've been able to be myself, right? But somehow you almost have to find yourself again on stage.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
has
yeah.
been therapeutic for me. Like, who am I really? And I actually put real thought into that, and I'm trying to find my own voice.
Yeah.
And I know eventually that Mitch Hedberg little cadence will dissipate because I won't be nervous anymore, and I'll be comfortable being me on stage. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
100%,
I just put it
dude.
out of my mind, and hey, at least they're not comparing me to, like, you know, Carrot Top or
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
Hey, whoa.
Hey,
Somebody-
not no offense, but I don't have props, you know. It'd be a poor comparison.
do you have you thought about any other influences that are in there that you think maybe people are not picking up on?
Oh, 100%, man. I'm influenced by urban culture. I grew up in the black community. I grew up, you know, liking Comic View and black comedians. Like you said, I
He
talk
still has a sticker on his hat.
Yeah. You leave the tags on, dog. Shout out to Lil Boosie. Boosie raised me. You know what I'm saying? I did some crazy shit when I was young because of Lil Boosie, you know? So hip hop and urban culture influences me, and especially urban comedy. Like my dream, like if I really wanted to like achieve my local dreams in Lafayette, it would be like a Sunday open mic on Simcoe Street and like pulling the talent from the hood that I know is there. Like the funniest people I've ever met in my life, I met in the hood. They just don't know that they have an avenue to comedy.
Right.
So to build that for like the urban community in Lafayette would be my like dream. Be
That's
like the
actually- yeah.
like a good Gary Owens.
Yeah, but
you know?
it would have to be if they would like enjoy stand up though and know how to do it, because I've seen come through open mics. I've seen a lot of people. I'm not gonna like. It's not a pigeonhole thing just to say like the black community like you're talking.
Right.
But some of those people are, but they're from all walks of life.
Yes.
Where they're the funny guy outside. They're the funny guy, so they think I should go do comedy. But they're not actually fans of comedy. They don't know what it is. And they go up there and they tell the story that they always tell at the barbecue that destroys. And it's fucking quiet. And you never see him again.
Yeah. I love those people. They're fun.
Yeah.
They don't understand, and I didn't either. Like I said, when I first did it, I thought I was getting booked on Stone Drunk Sober right after. You don't understand what an art it is until you do it. You know, my wife, matter of fact, so my goal is to get on Kill Tony in late January. We have tickets, right? So she was like, I want to put my name in the bucket. That way we have double the chances. And I was like, you can't disrespect.
Especially if
The show.
If she gets called,
Yes.
tell her she has to suck.
No, I
Because
told her the
they'll be more
opposite.
likely to pull you up if
That's
she
funny.
sucks.
I told her the opposite. I said, I don't want you to disrespect comedy and go up there and suck. You
Yeah.
have to do comedy. So she's done
that's true.
2
Yeah, you're
mics
right.
at the station now, and she's done 3 minutes each time over there, and she'll probably continue to do it here or there, but only so she can can have a good enough minute to where she's not disrespecting comedy because I respect
Yeah,
art.
because it
You know
does
what I'm
aggravate
saying?
me when they do that.
Yeah, you wasting everybody's time, bro.
There's like 300 people that signed up
Exactly.
that want to get on stage, and only maybe at the most 10 people get to go.
Yeah.
So when someone goes up there and they're like, "Oh, I just thought it would be fun," they have no desire, and they put their name in there. I'm like, dude, get fucked.
Yeah.
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 It's a real bummer.
Yeah, so like I don't feel bad when they're mean to those people.
Even our mics, though, I love wacky people, bro. Like I like our wacky people at our mics, right? They're some of my favorites. But the ones who disrespect the art and show up and be like, "Oh, I didn't know I was gonna riff off everybody else. This that, dude. This is my time. It's valuable to me. I could be with my fucking family right now. I'm here to do
it's
an
one,
open
it's
mic.
one
You know what
thing
I'm
to
saying?
just not know, but yeah, it's another thing to not care.
Not care, not
Yeah.
prepare. Think that you're gonna be funny just by riffing off of other people, dude.
Yeah.
Come in the studio with clips.
Yeah, they
ammo.
come and like sign up for their first open mic and then heckle everyone the whole time. I've seen it happen more than one time. It's like that's insane confidence right there.
Right.
To think you're about to do a thing you've never done before and you're gonna heckle the other people before you do it.
I think a lot of those people don't realize they're heckling though until you tell them. I've had conversations with audience members,
They
and
probably don't realize a lot of things.
you got to explain to them the culture of comedy in a very nice way, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, well, and they get slightly better."
Oh, that's a dream if they actually respond well. So I want just circling back. So your wife, I know I've seen her at the Artmosphere several times, but when she went up at the station. I'm just curious. Is that because like I don't want to go up where I live?
Oh no! It's more like so her kids go to their dad's house on Wednesday, so that's like our date night, and she can come out. On all other mic nights, she's at the house with the kids.
Gotcha.
Being a mom. She's not funny there, bro. There's nothing funny about that.
Cool, man. Cool. So, all right. So we talked about some of the stuff I wanted to. Okay, so it's when I get an opportunity, like anytime I'm in the car, if I'm going for a walk, if I'm at work, I like to have some podcasts going in the background or somebody's comedy special. I listen to Neil Rubenstein's "Have Some Dignity." Is that just came out?
Yeah, the recent one. I caught that one too.
Okay.
It came out a couple months ago.
Okay.
I started watching it one time when it first came out, but I was like, this was at the end of the night, and I think it was like a day of drinking, and I was so fucking drunk. I was like, I can't. It's time to go to bed.
Hell
and then I watched it again I watched it last night, and it's so you got to see it with the video too.
Yeah, for sure.
Because a lot of his I mean, you can get it without the video. The jokes are good enough. You can listen to them and they work. But a lot of things with his delivery, if you see it, it works good. There's also this pretty young looking woman who's with like this 150-year-old man in the audience they show every now and then. And I found that made it more enjoyable for me.
Okay, we'll look for that. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's an end of life nurse or something.
Yeah, they showed her a bunch until my wife came in the room, and then I was like, "Oh, Ach, you got to see this couple," and then they never showed him again.
Yeah, well, he's given me a lot to think about recently because I know we did he talked about this when he was on We're Dying Down Here, but he likes to do like wherever he goes, wherever he's doing dates, he likes to arrange for like local comics to get together and like workshop bits. And he says it helps him get better just by helping somebody else to work on their stuff. He also just likes the hang. And he really appreciates word economy. And I was thinking about that a lot today, just thinking about how, and it kind of ties back into what you were saying, get in there, rapid fire, hit them, show them you can get the whole thing done, start to finish in a short period of time, move on to the next thing, keep it moving. Man, I think, I don't know, I just can't wait to go sit down and take another look at some of my stuff and where can I make some more cuts? Where can I kind of condense this down to the essence of it? But I wouldn't think that you really have that going on as much because it seems like your style seems to be birthed out of that. So, and you talked about maybe wanting to expand into some longer form material in the future, but One of the things I noticed that I appreciate about you, I think it was like last week. I think we were at the Tuesday night open mic, and I was just kind of watching you. It's like, man, you just come up there and you just have one thing after another after another. Do you have a hard time remembering any of that stuff?
Oh, dude, like I said, I'm stupid. So another insecurity and the thing I'm trying to work on, especially since I'm gonna do that showcase, I look at my phone a lot.
Yeah.
But all that's on my phone is my set list.
Right.
So it's almost like I'm looking at it to buy time from the crowd because I can't think of what I was supposed to say next.
Right.
Yeah, that's the trouble with short jokes.
So I definitely do have that problem. But I'm hoping that I can link them together well enough, because like the ones that I don't have a problem with are the ones that I have a really great like link to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I have a funny transition.
Right.
So eventually I hope to get funny transitions for all of them. And it'll just get easier and easier.
Yeah,
you
segues
know?
definitely help.
And also it's weird. Sometimes when I pause and look at my phone, everyone laughs.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't get a laugh at first, and then I kind of shrug my shoulders and pause and look at my phone, everyone giggles. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where I'm gonna go with that. I just hope it naturally kind of progresses and I get better and better at it, you know?
Yeah, because it's a thing at a certain point. It's like, it's an open mic thing, like having the phone or notes. But at a certain point, like, you don't, like, when have you ever sat down and watched a special and they look at their phone the whole time? You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, I guarantee you they have a teleprompter at the front of the stage. Like if you spent all that money to film that hour special and you get 2 shots at this, dude, put a teleprompter in the front of the stage. I'm just guessing.
Possibly, I don't know.
But I bet a lot of
But
comics
that would
use
make it hard to
teleprompters.
do too. Because you can tell when someone's reading something.
Yeah, but you just put
You
your
can-
set
you can
list on the
tell a difference.
teleprompter,
Yeah, just
maybe.
yeah, they
or
might
like
use a
bullet
set
points,
list.
you know? I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I think
But I
Todd
know-
Berry arranged to have some kind of monitor on stage when he was up there.
He had a clock for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But they do, like, I've seen at 337, I've seen a bunch of comedians do an hour and they don't have a set list or anything. Jeff Dolly, I saw him do an hour 2 nights in a row. And the second night, I could tell he didn't even make a set list. He was like, I'm just going to tell an hour of jokes and I'll figure it out as I go. And it's like, that's such a crazy thing to do. Like, what if you forget if you told this joke or not? Because to me, it's like, especially if it's like a really hot show and you're up there and shit's going fucking awesome, dude, you're in a weird space, man. You're like in a tunnel or something. Like it's crazy afterwards. Like,
Yeah.
Well, imagine
the way the memory of it is unlike anything else.
Yeah, it's
like,
weird.
it's the same thing as like when you get in a car wreck or something, except much more enjoyable.
for me anyway, from my first time I did comedy to now, I feel like time slowed for me on stage. And y'all been doing it a little over a year. Y'all might better say it, but I feel like in my mind, I have more control the longer I do it, just because I've done these jokes before. I've been on stage before, and it's like time slows down a little bit, kind of like what you said in the car
sometimes,
accident.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll rewatch my bit and thought that I messed the joke up because I couldn't remember the word, but it was only a half a second in real time.
Right.
Our brains work faster than we think. You know, while
Yeah.
I was on stage, I was like, man, that was a long pause, but rewatched it was no pause.
Right.
You know?
Totally.
So I hope it just continues to slow down, you know?
I'm sure it will. So what kind of content have you been enjoying? Like is there a podcast or like comedy specials that you've enjoyed
Man,
lately?
Kill Tony every single Monday, like I said. And I feel like I got a comedy education from Kill Tony like comics didn't have before. Had 10 years of that podcast, seeing people do a minute and the professional comics criticizing them. So, you know, that show definitely influenced my style and even me doing comedy ever. And then on top of that, man, I really like Ali Sadiq. I like Michael Che. Cause I shout out to old Chappelle show type stuff. Michael Che has a sketch comedy show on HBO that is like a la Chappelle show. It's amazing. Tracy Morgan just dropped a special on HBO that made me cry laughing in my living room, which I feel like is hard to do, man.
Yeah.
And he's one of those dudes. What I love about him is he'll have a premise and you're like, oh, that's so stupid. And then like 30 seconds later, he's still nailing home that premise. And you're like, oh my God, this is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, he's
you
very
know?
out the box.
Yes. And he's one of those guys who's been able to become famous and still drop great specials, which is hard to do, you know?
Yeah. I haven't really watched a lot of Tracy Morgan's specials. Obviously, I'm familiar with everything he's done on Saturday Night Live, and I watched him on 30 Rock. And I've heard the way that people in the industry talk about him and how he's just kind of like a loose cannon. And I know he's considered like a genius level comic, and you just don't even want to go up after him because he just destroys. But I just, for whatever reason, I'm just not familiar with it. Have you seen any of his specials?
Yeah, it's not good to watch if you want to watch from a technical standpoint.
Yes. Because you can't do it unless you're Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan, like, he's one of those, he'll break every rule. You know what I mean? And it works because he's so goddamn funny.
Yes.
Right.
He's a character.
Yeah, it's just who he is. Yeah, he can't, I don't think he can not be funny if he tried.
Right. He's just singular.
Like, I bet whenever he got in that bad accident where he almost died, dude, I bet he had fucking first responders rolling laughing.
And that's the other thing he did great in that special.
Laughing?
He pretended.
This really hurts.
He pretends like he just got rich when he got hit by that Walmart truck. So it was a way to make him like relatable to the audience. He was like, when I got hit, like, I'm just like y'all. I just got hit by a truck and now I'm rich. And you know, it was a way of refreshing perspective where you could be famous but pretend like you weren't. Right? I just became worth $500 million. You know, that's new.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, he probably 10, 15 years of doing really well before that. Right?
Yeah, he probably was worth $40 million before that, but that's not Walmart truck money. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if he got hit by a Target truck. He could have retired, bro.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna take y'all's Rex too, because Kill Tony. You watch it religiously, right?
Yeah, I mean, I watch it every week.
Yeah.
It's
he doesn't worship it.
It's good. It's yeah. I don't want to get that on the record because it's like, I do think it did give me a leg up, but it's because basically what it is for the most part is a televised open mic. So like any open mic, it's very hit or miss. So there's some episodes, but when it's good, it's so fucking good.
It's so good.
Like, there's been some moments that were magical.
Yes.
And a lot of them, even like after the move to Austin, but they had a lot of good shit when they were back in LA at the Comedy Store, and they had the old band that were all characters.
The characters were fun.
Yeah. Whenever they could calm down and not step on everybody's jokes, they were so fun.
But even that is part of, I love chaos. So like, even that's part of what's fun for me for the show. Like the first time I did stand up, I came up and Jason had to like push a homeless man out of Legends downtown. And I was like, no, this was my show. Come on in, sir. You want to do comedy? I like chaos, you know?
Yeah, but if the homeless guy was on the payroll of the comedy show, then it would be a little bit more annoying.
Right. Are you suggesting you show up as a homeless guy one week?
No. I'm saying that since like was bad as like you can catch like someone is saying something really funny, but then someone in the band is saying something really stupid, really loudly over it. That's not because they're not like to be fun. A lot of what this podcast is to work on, like I have learned from this, is like to be funny here when you're not doing like when you do stand up, you've got like material and you're doing a routine. To be funny here is you just kind of you just wait to catch funny things. You know what I mean? If you're just trying to get in there and trying to say every funny thing you can think of, and you try too hard, you're not going to be as funny. And then you're going to step all over something funny someone else is saying, you know? Because when you're really funny, your funniest is like when you're hanging with the boys. You're not trying to be funny. You know, like you never go to meet your friends and be like, man, I hope I'm funny today, you know?
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah, you want to be a counter puncher. You don't want to be that guy that comes in there throwing haymakers. You want to wait, and then right when you see that perfect opportunity, like you said, throw it in.
Yeah, let them start it off, and then you finish it off.
Yeah, that was my strategy with the hang at first, like trying to get everybody to like me. I was like, okay, I'm going to hang out and I'm going to be quiet. And it's hard for me because I have a big mouth. And everybody likes a quiet dude because you think they agree with you all the time. But if you could be quiet for long periods of time and then just bang, hit one and then be quiet again, you're the best. Everyone starts to like you. That's when you're the funniest in like a hang situation, you know?
Yeah. I kind of accidentally do that, I think. It's not a thought. It's like I like being like that's just my natural state. I'd rather sit back most of the time and then just get one in there, you know. But where was I going with that? Oh, so all right. You talked about the hang. I wanted to kind of like just get a little bit more into your personal life. So you tell a lot of jokes where here's the thing about the shorter joke format style is that like it's harder to get to know a person. Like I feel like if I got up there and when I tell a joke, I'm like, oh, here, let me lay out my whole personal life and everything right out. And it's like a 2-minute long story that's nothing but personal life. But the guys that do the short form stuff, you have to kind of like get to know them through their humor by picking up on little things that come out. And so I just pick up on little things that you said in your jokes. And one of the things that comes up, I don't know if we can cut this out if you want to talk about it.
When he says gay people are gross?
Nah, I'm an open book. I'm an open book. Good.
Yeah, all that like super.
There's no explanation. That's a great.
Yeah, out of context.
All that
bad.
super anti-gay stuff you're always saying. No.
Yeah.
But I think you
and the
mentioned
joke with the hood. I don't get that.
Aren't you from River Ranch? No, no, but you mentioned that your dad's gay, right?
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. I haven't really talked about this publicly that much because I don't know 100% that it's true, but I'm pretty sure that my dad was bisexual.
All right.
I mean, is whatever, like, you know, I don't think he lives that lifestyle, but I'm pretty sure some people I've on good authority from some people that would know.
Right.
You think that's why your dad was always trying to overcompensate on the masculinity part?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's why I've been trying to figure out an angle on that. I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, I could see that you got a little gay in you for sure.
Yeah.
Like if we did a 23andMe, you know, maybe 12%.
That's why the set looks so
This
good.
is the thing,
dude.
yes, dude. This set's beautiful. But
Check out the fucking plants he bought.
this is the thing with Michael Corey. You know how there's like that dude where everybody's like, man, thank God he's gay, or he would get all the pussy.
Mm-hmm.
Like gay dudes are like, thank God Michael Corey's straight, bro. That wouldn't be any good for any of us. But and my dad was gay growing up, and it was on the DL, obviously very Catholic, kind of like your background, very religious background. And then once he was kind of done raising the family, he came out, and it was shocking at first because he's not effeminate or anything,
right?
But you start putting things together, like man, he did like the Golden Girls. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna lie, dog.
Dude, jokes per minute. The Golden Girls is
jokes
on.
Per minute, dude. Golden Girls is fucking on, dude.
Yes.
Dude, the freaking golden age of sitcom, really. I mean, like I know it was the 50s and 60s. Technically, it's the golden age of TV, but 80s
also,
and 90s.
B. Arthur was a handsome woman.
Oh yes.
And I use the word handsome.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she's had a masculine look about her.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What was going on there? Did she? I mean, because I haven't really looked into it, but is she?
She's gone, isn't she?
I think she is. Who? Let's do a quick Google search so we can talk about this.
I think the old lady's still alive. The really old one.
Oh yeah,
Sophia.
Betty White.
They were all the same age, believe it or not. Sophia,
no, Betty White died. Recently.
Betty White? Nah, she's dead.
People always talked about her dying before she died.
That's what makes it hard to remember.
Yeah.
We talked about her dying. We've been talking about her dying.
We need to know for the ghost roast. People might be waiting for this information.
Yeah, I could have picked Betty White.
We haven't had a male do a female yet, which could be interesting.
Oh, don't worry, it's coming.
I was gonna say,
and it won't be ironical, probably.
Right.
So she did die during the pandemic. Betty White. Yeah. B. Arthur has passed like a long time ago. She passed.
Was it like 1992 or something?
2009. I mean,
well, she lives on forever through me.
Estelle Getty, that was the
Sophia.
Yeah, she passed actually around the same time.
She was
Arthur.
Yeah, she was the best. She was the
she
funny
was
girl.
Arthur's mom in the show.
And then Blanche. Okay, so they all kind of died around the same time.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, they were Golden Girls were tight like that, bro.
They all live
Their
together.
death
man.
cycle synced up.
Dude, what's weird about my sexuality, even though I had a gay daddy, was watching the Golden Girls all the time. From a young age, I knew I was straight. Because, like, even Blanche could turn me on a little bit, right? When she would turn that sexy voice on and stuff,
dude.
it did it for me. I knew right away. That Gilligan's Island, what was her name? The redheaded woman on Gilligan's Island, like, blew my mind.
yeah.
Ginger, right?
Ginger.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, one of my jokes is about that. Like, there's different spectrums or whatever to sexuality, but for the most part, if you're just talking someone who's gay and someone who's heterosexual, it's a thing that's in you. Know what I mean? It's something that's in you.
Yeah,
you know?
you're born with it for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, some people can become gay, like if they go to prison. You know what I'm saying? They start fucking dudes.
I think they were gay the whole time.
You think? I don't.
They were at least bisexual.
Because they come
most
out
of
and they're
them.
straight again.
I can
know
tell
what
you
I'm
right
saying?
now, dude. If a dick is anywhere close to my face, I'm not enjoying it. Or it ain't no.
My
Dude,
problem.
I don't even like fucking like when I would work offshore, and like sometimes you would have like a bunch of showers lined up and everything. Like I didn't like motherfuckers talking to me naked for too long.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, why are we doing? I don't understand why we're doing this, you know? But I just don't like the male body. To me, like, this is kind of a short joke. I said it like maybe one time on stage, like in between jokes to move things along, is like the fact that my wife has sex with me and she wants to have sex with me is such a turn on for me. But at the same time, it's the most disgusting thing.
I agree 100%.
Like a dude is so fucking gross, bro.
Yeah, I'm never surprised when someone's a lesbian.
disgusted by it,
I'm like,
dude.
well, yeah.
You judge your wife for being attracted to you.
But I just think that's just how I'm wired.
Yeah,
you know what
I
I mean?
agree. I'm
So
so
I think-
grateful when a woman will have sex with
Yeah,
me.
like if I go to prison, I mean, I'm pretty sure I get raped a lot. But like, I'm not gonna be like, man, I've been through droughts,
Right.
and I never came close
Yeah,
to
yeah,
being
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know,
It's
maybe
true.
maybe I should open up the net a little larger in the gender, and never considered it.
Okay, good to
I'd
know.
be like, no, I guess this sex thing ain't happening.
I guess
But
we
that-
won't.
Like personally, that's just me.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll choose a different
But like I
cellmate.
said, there's
then.
different people. There's different spectrums of that. Like there's some people who might find out they like something, but to me, it's like I think if you've always thought you were homosexual and then you go to prison for a few years and you're like, I gotta fuck some of these dudes. I just think you weren't as homosexual as you always thought you were.
Right.
I don't know.
You just brought it out of you.
Yeah,
I feel like cocaine. I've seen cocaine turn people a little bit gay. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Even
now-
real
no,
masculine.
I mean, now you're
dudes.
introducing chemicals and stuff, so that could be different.
Yeah, I think.
By the way, I've only done cocaine a handful of times, and I didn't get gay either.
No, all right. Well,
Yeah.
you don't have any in you. You're clean.
I guess.
You get me and
This
Michael
house
and
is
8 Ball.
clean.
Me and Michael and 8 Ball. We both got
It's
a little
it's
gay
all
dads.
popping, yeah.
We might fuck each other, bro.
I mean, you know.
But I just
Blaming
think,
on
like, I
genes.
think probably like someone had got offended one time about like, because I said something like two dudes fucking. Like to me, it's gross for me to think about. And someone got mad, and I was like, okay, well, I don't think, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to do, you know what I mean?
Mm.
I'm not gay, but it doesn't mean, I bet gay dudes, like, they probably think pussy's the most disgusting, you know what I mean? Like, if a
Yeah.
gay dude probably watched a video of me and my wife doing shit, they'd probably be fucking puking, you know what I
think
mean?
at least there's still a dick for him, though, right? It's half good. We watch straight porn, right? And there's
Yeah.
a dick and a vagina.
Yeah.
The straightest porn to
Yeah,
watch
I don't
would be
imagine-
lesbian porn because there's two vaginas. But a
Yeah,
straight
but
man.
I don't know where to put myself. The only reason I like watching straight porn is because I'm the guy fucking the chick.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I
That's
mean?
what I do too.
I'm the guy fucking the chick. If there's two chicks, then I'm this guy
Yeah,
jacking
who am
off in
I?
the
I'm
corner.
the guy in the
yeah.
corner. Yeah, well,
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if I watch straight porn, I'm not jacking off like this dude's fucking the shit out of me.
Right,
you know what I'm
right, right.
saying? Like, I pretend it's my dick.
well, I don't like it when their penis is smaller than mine.
Yeah, I don't like that. Don't like that at all.
I'll change it. You know what
Don't
I'm
like
saying?
that. But like I said, I have to see myself.
Mhm.
And the same thing is like if the dick is like too ridiculously large or if it's like a bald black man, it's like, all right, I can only imagine so much.
Yeah, or if he's not wearing, if he's
like
not
all muscular, like a Debo kind of guy, like from Friday.
Right.
Like, I mean,
if he's not wearing a John Deere hat, Drew's not watching it.
I would think if I have to use this, if I have to use this much of my imagination, I just soon do it the old fashioned way. You know what I mean? I just soon use all my imagination, you know? Then I won't have to scroll so fucking long to find the perfect one.
Yeah, yeah.
You're engaging your suspension of disbelief a little too much.
I also think I'm sharing too much.
So now they make you register to look at porn in Louisiana,
Yeah, I know.
except for certain sites, and you have to have the like LA wallet to verify yourself.
Yeah, I'm not getting that shit.
Hey, listen, your boy's license is suspended right now,
Yeah.
so I've got to watch. I've got to watch like the XNXX, the only one they give me, and I'm out of stuff on.
I just don't want them having all that information.
Exactly.
And the thing is like, I understand, like, I'm on the grid. I get that they have the information, but I'm not gonna compile it and put it and package it all neat. Like, do your fucking job. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing like I pay my taxes like every other American.
Yep.
I'm not gonna do the government's job. You know?
I'm with you too. I find the whole idea of like I won't go to those sites anymore that require that. I'll go.
Yeah,
wherever
it's
too
I
much
gotta
work.
go.
It's too much work. I'm not doing it.
And we all know we're kind of like, come on, they already have everything they could ever want. But
Yeah.
there's just something about holding their hand while they do it that just makes you feel
does-
weird.
Yeah, and it would seem weird to be like, I'm not putting that in there. I don't want them to have all this information together, and then you immediately search like chicks with dicks. You know? You look at that. You don't care. They know you're jacking off the trans porn. But God forbid they have your driver's license number.
They don't need to know where I live.
Yeah. Well, the only thing about that is you know what they came out recently. I don't know. I've had this browser window open on my computer forever because I'm like, I should do something about this, but I never do. Some kind of hack of like the DMV. I think like the Louisiana DMV got hacked and a bunch of people's information got out there. The only thing that makes me feel like there might be some use to not participating in this whole Louisiana, oh yeah, here's my driver's license, I'll take my porn now, is that there are some levels of exposure that only like the local bureaucrat, like there's a level of it that you can avoid when it's just the anonymous like Google and the federal government and stuff. But when like some dummy that like somehow hacks the DMV or whatever, when that information gets out, that gets end up put in the newspaper. Like they make it very easy for whoever wants to know who somebody else is looking at to go look up their name and then get their whole, like it would just be way too easy.
You know what I mean? Yeah, on Passport too.
Porn. Yeah, we were talking about like kind of growing up and like knowing what you are and what you're not in terms of like sexuality and stuff. I found out something about my sister, like the whole thing with my dad that we were talking about earlier. That came from somebody in the family that told me about that stuff. But then not too long ago, I think like during the pandemic, my sister came out as bisexual. She lives in she lives somewhere in the Maryland area. And she came out and I was very surprised. Like this was not something that I had any idea about. She told me that she had known this since like sometime in the high school kind of somewhere around that, but and it blew me away. I had no idea that she was bisexual.
It's weird. Yeah. Like sometimes you could tell with kids, but sometimes it's easy to tell maybe because I'm a guy. Like I can tell with boys sometimes.
Yeah, it's way easier.
Like you could, and it's not just like being a little feminine. Like I can't even explain it, but there's just something about it. Like, you know, this dude, you know, like this is a gay person.
Yeah, his
growing
ass
up right
is
here.
nice. You know what I'm saying? Stop it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Look at I gave him something, bro. You know,
just going to waste. Yeah, this is you mentioned church thing. Like that was the thing. There was I can't say this poor kid's name. Well, he's an adult now, but I don't want to put this dude's family on blast. But yeah, I went to one of these big high profile churches, and there was this one dude that was like the son of somebody that I think worked there and was involved in like leadership in the church, and he was so obviously gay, like really, really like a caricature of a gay dude. And they were also like nobody could do or say anything, and just simply acknowledge something that's probably just undeniably true because of that religious pressure. It's wild the way that people grow up. It's bad enough, the idea of like society, like just kind of like we're obviously we're in a place we're getting a lot more accepting now, but it's bad enough that like societally, you know, that we're behind and we're having to try to get back to being accepting of whoever. But in church, man, like that's
you're talking heaven or hell to little kids.
No, that's the place you're supposed to be accepted first. Like God is supposed to be the most unconditional love.
And it's the total opposite. Total opposite. I once asked my dad, because the teacher said you were going to go to hell if you masturbated. We've all been a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
I prayed on it. I was like, please, God.
Yeah, that'd be the scariest
help me
thing
stop
for a 12-year-old boy
masturbating because I don't want to go to hell. And then I was like, well, let me ask my dad. Now, keep in mind, my dad is a closeted gay man at this time.
Right.
And I'm like, Dad, am I going to go to hell if I masturbate? And he's like, yeah. But I think about it now, and I think my dad was probably like, he had his own problems. Yeah. He was religious, so he thought what he was doing was going to send him to jail. Right. He's like, if you start jerking off, you might start jerking off to dudes. Be careful. You know what I'm saying? Just be with your wife
he
and
might
be
have
pure.
been fighting that. He might have not been accepting
For
it
sure.
either.
He's still not proud. Like, he was a Fox News dad who turned into like a gay man. You know what I'm saying? But my dad, he wants to do stand up bad, and everyone told my dad that he was funny. He should do stand up comedy when I was a kid.
Bring your gay ass on down here.
He wrote some shit and sent it to me, and I was like, "Listen, we're gonna have to workshop this."
In a nutshell, where were the big changes that needed to happen? Like from whatever if he sent you something and you were like, "There's something, but we would definitely need to work on this." Was it because it was like too far, or was it like, well, it's just not very good?
Some of it's his age, right? Older people are detached and they still don't know they can't say certain things, right?
Interesting.
Because it used to just be fun to say something controversial, kind of. And then also, just like what we were talking about earlier, the art form. Yeah. He doesn't understand that you can't be Bill Burr today. Right. You know what I'm saying? Bill Burr he had short jokes at first. So he's trying to write stories. But I can cram him down. He does have an interesting life as a closeted gay man to your 50s. And I could write some material for him for sure.
Yeah, dude, like that's the thing. Is like you got to start with a novel perspective and a sense of humor. And then from there you can build. Yeah.
And the thing too is like you can say pretty much anything, but there is a thing about like context and like if you just go up on stage, people don't know who you are. It's like you have to give them the right idea about you. Because a lot of times, the funniest thing, I do it a lot on this podcast, and I do it when I'm hanging out with people. A lot of times, I'll say like the fucked up thing to say, and I'll say it like it's my opinion to make people laugh. But I'm with my friends, and they know that's why I'm saying it. Yes. We have a laugh.
Yes.
But doing it on stage when you only have 5 minutes for the audience to get to know you, it's a little riskier and you have to be more careful with it. On this podcast, if anyone listens to the podcast and I say something racist or something, it's like, okay, well, listen to the other 30 hours.
Yes.
Right. And it should be enough context for you to understand that's why we're laughing at the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, if this really was like a white supremacist podcast, we'd be a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be laughing at that. We'd be like, yep, right. Yeah, you know?
But sometimes when you, like a lot of my comedy kind of rides that line, right? Like, is this dude racist? And I let you know in the end, and I'm not. And I'm actually on the side. Really, if anybody, I don't like white people, you know? And I let you know that. But, shoot, I lost my train of thought. Damn.
You're telling us about how you're racist.
Yeah. But you were talking about how your comedy skirts the line of how people, Well, we were talking about laying the groundwork to make sure that whenever you're.
Oh yeah, I know what I was thinking now. So sometimes I'll be the beginning of my joke will make you think like oh, gay dudes are gross. And the dude will stand up and be like, yeah. And you're like, oh no, that's not me. And, you know, I got something else that I'm gonna do.
Yeah, there's a punchline right after that.
That's gonna contradict
it's
that.
supposed to be it's supposed to be a diversion.
Yes.
Right. They're not supposed to see the swerve coming. You're supposed to throw them off to where it's supposed. You did it one time at Lake Charles, and you're like, I think gay guys are gross. And
someone booed me.
Well, this time I just heard someone say like, "Oh,
yeah."
See, that's funny because like that one's quick. That one you don't. When you start off, I'm pretty sure right after, like you get to the point quickly.
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
Right after that line.
This isn't like a joke that like I need. I think gay dudes are gross. But if it wasn't for my wife, there'd be shit all over my sheets too.
Right,
implying that like women never let you fuck them in the butt is the joke.
Right.
Yeah.
But isn't it like I thought? The way it went was I thought you'd say. Gay dudes are gross, but not because they're gay.
Because they're dudes. Yeah.
Right. Which is funny because it's kind of what I was saying earlier. Yeah. Like a dude is fucking gross to me. Like, I don't like dudes. It's not like I would never. Like I did karate for a little while and like grapple on the floor with guys. I was like, I don't like this.
Someone please like pin together all of the homophobic things Drew has said. Cancel Drew Gotro.
It's so funny. Of all the reasons that somebody would come home and complain about not liking karate, like that's a unique one, you know.
Well, I mean,
but you're right, it is a little gay.
And the thing is, like, too, it's not like homophobic because, like, I don't like. Try to think of something I don't like. I don't like fucking
Subway.
That no, that won't work because I hate people that eat Subway too.
Because he likes other sandwiches also.
I like Subway, but I hate Subway, but I also hate the people that go there. So that's not good.
That'd be like if you just hated.
I don't like asparagus, you know. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm not gonna like not fuck with you if you like asparagus.
Exactly.
Same thing with dicks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like dicks, but like if your dad does,
rock on.
Hey, he'd be cool as shit. I bet we would be best of friends if we met each other. Like that's fine. Just because you like you ever had friends that would like, if you had a buddy who had like a girlfriend that was fat or like not too pretty, and they would always give him a hard time, and it'd be like, bro, nobody's making you fuck her. Like, leave him alone.
Why you shitting on that thing?
The chick.
Yeah.
What do you care? But he like, what does it matter to you? Leave that dude alone. Same thing with dicks.
Yep. I don't like when people ruin people's parades. I agree, man.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that guy likes
dicks.
Someone likes that. Yeah, dicks, fat chicks. They're the same.
Yeah. I happen to really enjoy gay culture. My wife
not to enjoy.
My wife loves gay culture. She's a big drag queen fan. We watch RuPaul together, and I am quite the expert on drag queens. I like to critique them. I like to say, like, look, his nuts poking out a little bit. It's not good. If you don't know this, the tuck is important on RuPaul Drag Race. And then they do lip sync battles where they lip sync each other and dance battle each other.
Yeah.
And I think maybe we could solve, other conflicts with RuPaul dance battle. Y'all, Russia, bring y'all best drag queen against Ukraine, and let's all find out, bro.
This is just off the record here, but I've been working on a new joke. And I've been starting to realize, I mean, this has been going on for a while, but like, the only thing that I've figured out how to make funny is to play with the gay angle thing. And it seeps into like almost every joke. A joke is easy for me to write when it comes to that. So like this thing I'm working on right now, you mentioned we were talking about gay culture and then talking about drag queen. And there's a lot of this stuff like burlesque stuff and like drag karaoke and just all these different kind of things that I don't understand. I guess there's just a lot about gay culture that I don't understand when it comes to the gender bending part of it, because it seems like if you're gay and your identity is like, I'm a dude and then I'm also attracted to dudes, that seems like it's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I'm attracted to dudes and I'm biologically male, but I'm also kind of like have some interest in like role playing as a female or dressing up as a drag, dressing up in drag. That's the part that I'm not. There's like a mental leap there that I'm having a hard time following where that leap is being made.
Yeah, that's pretty confusing.
Well, it's just like the gay thing, though. None of us can understand why dicks are delicious. You know what I'm saying? But they are. Some people fucking
to
love
me, I
them.
chalk that up as a thing. Like, I don't really understand all the gender stuff. But at the same time, it's like, all right, well, I don't have to understand it.
That's where I'm at.
It's like, whatever. I don't give a fuck with you. If you're doing something that makes you happy, I don't care and I don't need to understand it. But there was a thing about, like, I was actually thinking about this today where it is a weird thing where like the gender stuff comes to where like trans is fits in with like sexual orientation. And like back when if you remember back like whenever Caitlyn Jenner was like first transitioning. I mean, what was that, like the 2000s maybe?
2010, 2012, something like that.
Sounds right.
Yeah, maybe something like that. So what, a decade ago or something? And I mean, I knew about trans people. I was aware. I didn't know a whole lot. And I remember thinking like saying something about, well, like now that he's going to be a woman, is he going to be like a lesbian? Because he was married to a woman, or like now is that he's a woman, will he be a straight woman,
right,
and have sex with dudes? And I got fucking yelled at because it was sexual. How you identify sexually and your gender has nothing to do with your sexual orientation.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I'm confused.
Yeah. 100%.
You know,
which
is fine. But the thing is, I don't know. Maybe y'all shouldn't have fucking yelled at me for not knowing.
Yeah. Well, you gotta educate me.
It's confusing.
Yes.
You know,
especially people who are willing to learn.
Especially now that y'all put T in there.
Right.
I feel like I'm owed an apology. You know?
Yeah. They should put it in the index, you know, the glossary.
Yeah, because especially since you yelled at me about a thing I don't even care about. That I formed in a question. Like I'm ignorant. I don't know. And I got yelled at. And now you're going the other way around. So apparently it has something to do with sexual orientation, or you wouldn't bunch it up with sexual orientation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think there's how you identify, and then there's what and who you're attracted to. And then there's just going to be some situations where there's some things that you experience as a person that don't really fit neatly into one of those two boxes. And that it like I can handle that. Like that makes sense to me. The idea that sometimes it's going to fit neatly into a box and sometimes it's not, and not everybody's going to understand it. I can live with that.
Yeah.
Like,
or I can even get like, I think part of it too is like, it's maybe some of it's not supposed to make sense, because I think the whole argument is like gender roles and all this is just fucking made up anyway. So it doesn't matter what you do or whatever, which is fine, but whatever.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a complicated little aspect of it too. That comes
if you're
up
yelling at people.
Yeah.
You can't be like everything is nothing and what anything is whatever and there's no rules and then fucking yell at me.
Yeah, like, why are you so upset?
I'm like, I thought you were like, who gives a fuck a minute ago?
Can't break a rule that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
that's interesting, man. It isn't, and this is something we don't have time to get into, but it is something that I'm still kind of wrestling with, because it comes up and upsets people. Is where feminism kind of intersects with gender stuff.
Yeah, that confuses me too. But I'm like, I don't have a fucking horse in that race either.
I
so
like
I'm
it
like,
a
whatever.
lot.
Like that's
I can't wait for women to turn on trans women. Like they got to do it eventually, right? Because really, what you want,
some of them do, but they kind of don't really. They
can't do it like they should.
I've noticed the women that do get upset, like they'll have women that get really upset about like like trans women playing in women's sports, and they'll like yell to me about it. I'm like, what the fuck do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Other than transition and then not play sports.
Yeah. You can do that.
I mean, like,
you could do that.
And be like, if you're not part of, but other than that, there's like, this is your fight right here.
Yeah,
I can't do anything about it. It's the same thing about, you know, like WNBA players. This isn't even, so many people have said this where it's like the WNBA players don't make as much. Like, go to the fucking games. You know, it's not.
Well, I guarantee you, as soon as
my fault.
As soon as we have a trans WNBA player and she starts dunking on these girls, she'll be fairly paid. 100%.
Yeah, because of the entertainment, right?
Yeah, the entertainment.
That's it.
People want to see it. Oh shit, she's dunking on Brittany Griner.
Like, my dad was like one time telling me about like who was the chick, the female soccer player who was always yelling about not getting paid enough.
I can see her face, but I don't remember her name.
Yeah,
I only remember her taking her shirt off.
and then she
something.
Well, anyway, she was all she talked about is like they don't get paid enough. They don't get paid enough. And then somewhere when it came to the thing about letting trans women play in the women's soccer league, and she was like, "Sure."
Mm-hmm.
And my dad's like, doesn't she even realize if she's so worried about getting paid, once a man gets in there, then she's going to lose her job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you even talking to me about this? Like there's such a short list of things that I give a fuck about any less than like this has nothing to, first of all, it's fucking soccer to begin with already.
Yeah.
That right there, I'm out. Did women's soccer? No.
I just think it's fun. Not that old men were right in their way of thinking, but remember when you were a little boy and your grandpa was like, stop doing that gay stuff or everybody's going to be gay. Like, they were right about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people got gayer. I'm not saying they were right to not want us to be gayer, but they were right that if we kept doing that gay shit, we were going to get gayer.
You know, I will definitely agree. This is a part of your material, so I don't want to burn that, but I will say there's a point you make in your joke that people have pointed out how smart this joke is about how it's obviously not a choice to be gay. And I remember growing up being bullied a lot for people saying that I was gay. And I just knew how much like I was just burning with desire for women and only women. Yeah. Drove me crazy, dude. Because I was like, I know I'm not.
Only because we're different ages and we didn't know each other. But I did that to other boys. Like,
that was a thing. I mean, I got called. Everybody did. It was like a thing when we were coming up.
Definitely would bully some other friends that would do something kind of feminine. Like, bro,
don't do that because Grandpa said not to. It was ingrained in us. You know.
And I'll do it as a joke with friends.
Now it's funny.
But I used to be like really like, hey, bro, don't let nobody. Uncross your legs, dude.
Yeah. You know, now we can still be friends with Michael, even though he crossed his legs.
Dude, and you know what? I feel like I'm leaning into it because I would never have done this before, and it's not always even physically comfortable. Sometimes I feel like I'm just doing it to make people uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Just to fuck with people. But,
you've been called gay so much. You're like, all right, motherfuckers.
And meanwhile, I'm like,
is this what you wanted?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what's going on there. So we like to wrap up each episode with a hypothetical question for our guest. It's a question that will hopefully illuminate what in your life rivals stand up in like importance and meaning for you. And this is going to be a good one because I know we've already established that you knew you wanted to be in comedy early on. So I thought about what I might trade in my life to get where I want to be as a comic, and it occurred to me that I would give up sex for comedy. Just to be clear, like I would never have sex with another person again for the rest of my life if in exchange for that, all of my like wildest comedy dreams would come true exactly the way that I wanted them to. So with that in mind, if you had to make a deal with the devil to give up something, something that would be like really costly, so that all your comedy dreams would come true exactly the way that you wanted them to, what what might that be for you?
I put a lot of thought into this, and similarly to this podcast episode, I think I have the best answer. I think that if you gave me, and I'll bring it down low as I can, give me 5 years as the top, like a top 20 comic in the world, and I'll die. You can kill me right after.
Okay.
I'd give my life for
Good
5
answer.
years
Yeah.
as a top
That is a
famous
great
comic.
answer.
Just to burn
And
strong for 5
Now,
years.
would that be? I don't have any biological children, so I thought about that too. Like me and my wife were talking about having a child, and I would sacrifice having a child if I knew that I was going to be famous. Now I don't, so I'm just going to have a kid and see what happens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, if you know for sure, it would be the smarter thing to do, even,
Right.
to
You make that
wait
sacrifice.
till after you do make it, and then have a kid when you're fucking rich.
Yes, and get a much younger wife. You know all of that.
Now, did you grow up like wanting to have kids?
Not necessarily, man. I don't know if I gave much thought to it. I've always been kind of like a free spirit, man. I'm wild. Like that's why comedy comes natural to me. I've been a comedian my whole life. I've always been the crazy friend that everybody tells stories about. So I don't think I ever wanted to have kids until I met my wife, and then I fell in love with her. And then most people want a little boy, but I want a little girl. I want a little mini, my wife. So I don't really want kids because I want kids. I want kids because I love my wife. You know what I'm saying?
See, in that way, I can say we're definitely the same. I grew up actually firmly knowing I don't want to have kids ever. And it was one of those things where I had to realize, even before I met my wife, I was like, I'm gonna meet somebody one day, and the type of person I'm gonna fall for is gonna be the kind of person who was like wired to have kids. And I'm not gonna be able to be like, marry me and let's not have kids. I know I'm gonna have to accept it. And I think that what you said there kind of reminded me of the dynamic that we have of the like I knew that before, like when we found out Kale was gonna that we had conceived a child, some weird biological switch just flipped in my head. And I just immediately fell in love with this, whatever this thing was inside of her stomach, you know?
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, I had that too with my first kid. And I wasn't with the mom or anything. It was like a booty call that I knocked up. It was like the worst, would normally be your worst nightmare.
All right.
And at first, like the first, when she called, like, whoa, this is crazy. But then, like I said, I wasn't even in a relationship with this woman. Then when I thought about like, being a dad, and then it's like, you can't go back from that. You know what I mean?
Now, I also wanted to clarify, when you say top 20, there's got to be at least one that comes to your head right away, right? So like as an example of like, if you were in that top 20 for 5 years, who would be the people that you would be looking around and being like, oh, these are my peers now?
Oh man, like I said, I'm a big, Tony Hinchcliffe fan for sure. Shane Gillis, Mark Normand, that whole crew, that whole like Joe Rogan crew. Even Rogan, I listen to his podcast too much to love his stand-up because it's like I already heard this.
Right.
But those are the type of people. That's the type of comedy.
Yeah, like a lot of the New York comics.
Yes.
I like the way they riff with each other a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Ari Shaffir.
Joe List,
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. Jesus.
So I get that thing y'all were talking about though. Like y'all were saying, y'all were both kind of saying like, I think you really didn't want kids, and he, I guess, was indifferent. But it's like, well, if you love this woman enough that if she wants to have a kid, well, then I want to have a kid too.
Yeah.
I don't have that, but I live in New Iberia because of my wife. So I think that's probably even bigger leap of faith than having a child.
Yeah, 100%, dog. That's a big sacrifice.
Like I got
man.
sentenced to New Iberia.
Yeah.
Credit where credit's due. Yeah.
Before, like when I was single, before I met my wife, and I would be like on the dating apps, and then like Tinder was the first one to start it, but all the other apps went to the swipe thing.
Yeah.
And like it would usually show where they're from, and it didn't matter how hot the woman was. If it said New Iberia, nope. Like no fucking way. I don't care how hot she is. I had worked at the port in New Iberia for a little while, and I was like, fuck. I was like, this is just a cracked out town. Because I was in the port. So the port is not a good representation though of like the whole town, but was just so I was like, oh no, I'll never. But then I met my wife like organically, and now I'm in fucking New Iberia.
Nice.
just for a second, I want to dig into this. Where is there like good part? I don't ever spend any time there, and everybody talks shit about it.
It's nice now, kind of.
Yeah.
Bro.
Okay.
There's like, we've been in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like I live in a nice neighborhood.
Mhm.
For sure.
I live like next to Squirrel Run. Like a lot of people know about Squirrel Run.
Yeah.
I live like there's there's Squirrel Run and there's Jane Street, and my neighborhood is on the other side of Jane Street. So it's like, you know how like Canada, because they live above us, they're like not worried. Like they'll talk shit to people because we got like a big army.
Yeah.
It's like I live next to Squirrel Run, the neighborhood with the golf course. So they're gonna keep my neighborhood safe to keep the people in Squirrel Run
and the
safe.
property value.
Yeah, I'm Canada and they're the United States. Pretty much.
Detroit.
And like, I don't know if you've been to if you go like check out the downtown area of New Iberia, it's fucking beautiful down there, dude.
Okay.
There's a lot of like old time shops and stuff. It's cool.
They have a great street taco place right next to the high school. Best street tacos you ever had. And you can send money to Mexico like directly from there.
I love some street
There's not
tacos.
enough people sending fucking money to Mexico. Anytime you try to like if you go try to cash your check on Friday at Walmart,
That's the only
that's all
people that
there
used
is
to be
people
there.
Western Union
That's
money
what,
back to Mexico.
that's what I mean by how fucked up. When you're
Yeah.
still in that line in the late 2000s, you know.
Yeah.
I need some street tacos. There was this great place I used to set up in Prairieville back when I lived in Baton Rouge, and I would go over there. I have not had good street tacos. Where should I go to get some good street tacos?
And
around
we
here?
drive all the way to New Iberia to get those good ones. I mean, they're hard to find. They got one place off by the Cox building. What's that street called by Cox? I forget.
Shit.
But they got a little place there you wouldn't know. No sign. You got almost got to be Mexican to know
Yeah,
about.
it's
You
like
walk
word
in,
of mouth. Yeah.
nobody speaks English. You got to find those places.
Damn, they're gonna be pissed after this podcast comes out.
Oh, they're gonna be flooded, man.
Yeah.
A bunch of white people.
Yeah, there's at least 5 people that listen to this podcast. All right, so where can people find you on socials?
Actually, I guess if you want to find my comedy on social media, I started a TikTok page not long ago. White-Lyons Comedy, all one word. My Facebook page, probably when this podcast comes out, I'm gonna delete everyone who I think isn't into my comedy, and turn it into a comedy Facebook page. So look for Brock White-Lyons on Facebook, and
We'll
that's
put
about
all
it.
that up on the screen. So people
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Okay, and so you've got. So you are you booked on 2 different?
Yeah, Stone Drunk Sober in Baton Rouge on the 27th and
Of December.
of January.
January.
And,
Okay.
and Ghost Roast in early January, the 21st. Late
Okay.
January, should I say.
And that's also in Baton Rouge?
No, that one's going to be in at Artmosphere, I believe.
Artmosphere. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. So you got the Artmosphere and that's February? Sorry, what was the date on that?
Both of them are January. January
January.
21st at Artmosphere and January 27th at the station in Baton Rouge.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the Stone Drunk Sober is gonna be at Baton Rouge.
And I'm
right?
team sober, and I expect to win.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. Well, so real quick, are they not doing a Lafayette Stone Drunk Sober that month since they're doing it in Baton Rouge?
I don't know.
I
As
don't
far
know.
as I know, it's supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
its own thing.
Okay.
But I don't know. We'd have to ask Jason about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could just figure out a way to get in touch with them. All right. Well, you've been a very fun, high energy guest to have on the pod, but also you hit some real moments where we could talk about some real shit. We don't usually have that. Usually, it's kind of like a lot of one or a lot of the other. So this has been an interesting interview. I feel like I've gotten to know you a little bit more. I hope that everybody else that's watching feels the same way. You know, so that's what we kind of hope to give people a little bit of insight into the local talent. You know.
Yeah, and if I said anything wrong about trans or gay people, just put a nice look. You could comment like, "Hey, Drew, you got this wrong. Actually, this That'd be nice. I don't need no all people typing in all caps and yelling at me for not knowing shit. All right.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Drew will be happy if
said
there's comments, even if it's a comment.
If I said something wrong, let's open up a discussion about it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Drew and I will happily debate you in the comments.
Don't fucking yell at me for not knowing shit.
Yeah, and as we all know, when you're really trying to get down to the heart of an issue and really educate somebody, the YouTube comment section is where you do that.
That's where all the world's problem. First of all, that's the worst of all the places to have comments. I couldn't imagine. Like, I get it's easy on Facebook sometimes because it's like you're just scrolling on image and it's right there. It's so easy to make a comment. I can never imagine watching a video on YouTube and being like, I gotta let somebody know.
Yeah, me either.
Like, I can't watch before we start this next video. I gotta go on the record about this video.
That is a good point because I feel like the whole YouTube thing is to just keep you engaged, or like a TikTok. You know, like it's designed, purpose built to keep you just
like
watching.
I've never even watched a video. Like, when have you ever watched a video? Be like, man, that was good. Let's go let's go see what the comments say.
Yeah.
Right. Never.
Exactly. It's like, what would you rather do? Sit here and type out a comment and have to fucking proofread it, or watch another cool video?
Yeah, or it's like, that video sucked. Watch a better video.
Yeah.
You have the whole fucking the whole world's information at your fingertips. You can do anything in the world you want right now. Just do something better.
Now I will say this: y'all missed Aliens. I don't know if y'all gave up on that bit or what.
I just haven't.
We spent a lot more time on gay this episode.
Yeah.
For some reason,
maybe we could do like a Galians.
A gay alien. It was a special episode where it's just gay
aliens have 100% transcended gender. You know what I'm saying? They had to have. That's why Christians.
Yeah, like aliens, if they listened to this podcast, they would roll their eyes.
Yes, and Christians don't understand transgenders and stuff like that. Do they think God's up there with like a beard and a Bud Light, or not a Bud Light, a Miller Light?
That's the really.
He's got to be intergender for sure. God's like, hey.
It used to be Bud Light. Now he's like, no.
God's a Miller Light man now.
Yeah. I'd rather drink fucking cat piss than.
Well, with that, you guys keep plugging away at it. We'll see you next week.